college, and he's just written his first book, which I just finished reading. It's a quick read and it's wonderful. And so welcome, Berney.
Lisa, I don't know who that dude is.
It's you, sir.
Thank you guys for having me. Last time I saw Judy, she was knocking on my door trying to get my vote. And I told her, you already got it. You know, it was really, really cool. Lisa told me to give you a speech, her and Beth. It's kind of going to be more like a talk. Most of you guys know me. I've been around. Just like Lisa said, I got 34 years behind the fence. Jay and I ate some of the same dirt over at an agency that we don't talk about.
No such.
No such agency. I was cool when I was there. I wasn't quite so angry, but I'm angry now. You know, tomorrow is my anniversary. It's the anniversary of the day I left the federal government. I had had enough. As I said before, working over at Fort Meade. Cool. I was working for NORAD and U.S. NORCOM as their liaison officer, which meant I got my opportunity to have my hands in everything. I saw a lot. But when I went over to the Department of Homeland Security, that was a whole nother game. I was three doors down from Secretary Mayorkas. He used to come to my office and, you know, the coffee machine, we're on this classified floor, so most people couldn't get in. And there was only a few of us around because of COVID. So he can come and want to have coffee, him and his security detail. He didn't realize that his life was in danger. Because I still have my combat knife. So with that said, he's still in his job, and I figured it was best for me to move on. I was really angry. And I was so angry that I ran for Congress. I saw through my travels, and Jay can tell you, Dutch Rupersberger is not a nice man. He used to be a good guy, but he's not anymore. He's not doing us any good. So I decided that I was going to go against him. And I went out there and I started campaigning in Anne Arundel County. I'm out there driving out every night and making some headway, making speeches just like this one. But what happened is I got redistricted halfway through the campaign. Next thing you know, I'm out in Carroll County. Matter of fact, Beth was my treasurer at the time. And she was like, why? Beth can tell you, I spent $35,000 of my own money. I was that angry. Why? It's because I was helping to bring illegal, this is a bad word, non-citizens across the border. How about that? Is that a good word? Non-citizens.
That's a nice word.
And so the issue of the day is where are these people, where are they going? They're coming to take your vote. The Biden administration was helping. We were using DOD money to do things against the American people. As an old Air Force veteran, I just couldn't stand it anymore. I got to see a lot. When we did the Afghan retrograde, brought people back, you know, shut down the Afghan mission, we were spending $1,400 a day per Afghan refugee, unbudgeted. That's $110 million a day. And that was enough to get me mad. And so when I told my wife I was leaving, oh, I didn't tell you about COVID, I'm not vaccinated. And they were trying, all this stuff I'm doing, they're trying to make me take that jab. Oh, hell no. So with that said, forgive my cussing, but I get a little angry sometimes. But I'm angry for you guys, because I'm not going to stop. The government's been good to me. America has been good to me. I go where it tells me to go, and I do what it tells me to do. But part of our responsibility as citizens is to correct the government when it needs to be corrected. Now, I'm not talking about, you know, grabbing a gun and going after anybody. You know, we're not talking about a revolution. But maybe if I could get myself into an elected position to represent you guys, maybe we can make a difference. Because right now, we're not in a good place. We lost an election, and let me read you some of these stats here. I like to walk around. So, for governor, the Democrats got 69.97% of the vote, 70%. We got 26%. For Senate, they got 70% of the vote, And this is Howard County stats, by the way, and we got 28.92. For Congress, District 3, right here, on the ground we stand on, 68.5% of the vote, roughly 70% for the Democrats, 31.37%. Now here's the deal. Now I know most of you were out carrying signs and knocking on doors and sweating in the heat during the primary and all that sort of stuff, and it didn't work. Do we have to work harder? No, I say we gotta work smarter, and we gotta get in early. So why did I write this book? It's because we gotta recruit some minorities. This isn't about black values matter. It's about American values matter. And I'm just trying to use their phrase to trick them. So with that said, there's a lot of conservatives, a lot of minorities. I went to an East Asian festival that Beth invited me to. It was Sunday afternoon, and there was a football game on, and I didn't want to go. And there was like 500 people there. I was totally surprised. Dan Cox was there, and it was like, wow, these people are fired up. Lisa was there. The issue of the day is they're more conservative than we are, because a lot of them left communist countries. They know what happens when communism and fascism take over. And what we got now is techno-fascism. These rich people, they think they know better. I don't want them running my life. But we just elected the vanguard of techno-fascism. So now we're gonna have to deal with them. We're gonna have to fight them every way. Trust me, I don't wanna talk about what I've seen, but I had clearances at the yin yang. Jay will tell you, I was there. I saw it all. You name an agency, I've been there, done that. DARPA, CIA, the whole thing. And I was angry enough to walk away and fight these people. And I'm not gonna stop. So, maybe 2 years from now, maybe you'll find something for me to do. But I'm not gonna stop. I'm putting together a podcast. And I think you guys feel the same way. We practice fratricide in the Republican Party. This side likes Trump, this side likes Hogan, and guess who was laughing at us? The Democrats the whole time. You know, if you get an 80% solution, keep rolling. We were looking for a 100% solution, and we can't, you know, you're not ever gonna agree with anybody 100%. And I hope that we've learned something from this, because right now we gotta get going, we gotta talk to those people, we gotta get out to those churches and synagogues and, you know, religious places where these conservative minorities live, because they're right beside you. My next door neighbor is Jewish. And you know what? When I was running and I had my Cox sign in my yard, my neighbor down the street, who's been to my house, she was like, well, I can't vote for Berney because he's a Republican. Somehow or another, these people have gathered the narrative and they're using it against us. And my intention is to snatch that narrative back and make those young people with kids understand that we're on their side. We're fighting for them. You know, I should be reading this speech here that I wrote out. Oh well. Here's the deal. The Democratic Party has nothing for me. I'm a conservative black man. I am a patriot. I like to think of that. I believe in conservative values. I believe in good schools. And everybody who comes to Howard County believes in the same thing. We believe in the same thing. But the issue is, how are we going to get those people to vote for us and end up with more than 30% of the vote? That's our task. They believe in us, they just didn't come out. And as nice as we are, and we give them tea and lemonade and all that sort of stuff, it's still hot out there when we're out there carrying those signs. And we just weren't organized. And I will say, you know, I was involved in the MDGOP. They tried to put me up for vice chair or whatever and all that sort of stuff would go down. And we tried hard. But the issue of the day is, I don't know if anybody went to the convention. It was ugly. It was beneath the Republican Party. We got to start over. And I can say that a lot of money was raised, and I didn't see where Danny got a lot of it. Some people don't like Danny Borgata. Great, but they were our nominee. And you got to get behind your quarterback, no matter what. You might not like it, but the alternative is Wes Moore. And Wes Moore doesn't like this. Your taxes are getting ready to go up in a hurry. And your mobility may go up with this vaccination, with Hogan in place with this jabs for jobs thing. Imagine what's going to happen with them having literally no opposition. Right, Trent? They're in the legislature concocting against us right now. So with that, I say, let's organize, let's train, let's equip, and let's go to fighting. That's how I see it. Again, as I said before, the Democratic Party has no place for me. Probably I'm talking about this book a little bit, huh?
Yeah, and your podcast, I said you are.
Oh yeah, well, I'm looking for a name, and I got a few out there, and I just put some money on a website and all that sort of stuff. I already have one, but it says I'm running for Congress in Carroll County, and I'm not running for Congress in Carroll County, but I'm changing these things, and like I said, just trying to get some momentum going for us, not just for me. This country's been really good to me. I was down in North Carolina, where I'm from, this past weekend. Went down to Wilmington, and everybody was all nice and sweet and all that sort of stuff. And I was glad to be down there, but I wanted to get back home because Maryland's home now. I've been here 15 years, and this is where the fight is. We need to get together. We need to organize. We need to stop violating Reagan's rule. You shouldn't talk bad about a fellow Republican. If you got something to say it to their face. But don't be out here bashing people behind their back. And I'm not saying you guys did that. But I will say, in Carroll County, people were pulling out lawsuits against each other, calling the cops. That sort of thing, yeah. Oh yeah. And I'm over here driving out 50 miles out to Westminster every night to give speeches. Am I complaining? I did it gladly because it was the right thing to do. It would have been nice to win, but I knew that it was a long shot for me to win out there. I don't live there. I live here. And when 2024 comes, groups like these are going to have to gather some good candidates, put some good vibes out there, put some smiles on our faces. Don't be the angry Republicans. We're the good guys. We're over here fighting for your rights. We're fighting for school choice. We're fighting to keep drag queen story time out of our schools. Anybody know what that is?
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you a dumb question. So imagine this. You got some big husky 200-pound man dressed up in women's clothes, and he gets to read to kids and talk about sexual stuff. I don't like that. What you gonna do about it? Why is it that, okay, let's say some woman dresses up in sexualized clothes and she's at a library reading to kids, you're gonna call the cops on her, aren't you? So what's the juxtaposition here?
But what's wrong with those parents that are taking their kids there to listen to that?
We need to re-educate.
Yeah.
We need patriots.
I mean, truly, I find that more disturbing.
It
That
is very
parents are
disturbing.
taking their kids there to expose them to that.
It's crazy as all get out. See,
Doesn't Howard County already have a drag queen reading hour?
Yeah, they
we
do.
have them.
And we need to stop it. Regular folks need to stop it. And this is how we do it. Small gatherings, make sure we're all on the same page, and we go together to stop these things. Or at least let them know that we're not happy. I'm not happy. I got a brand new granddaughter. And somebody does that, it might not be good for them. Might turn out so well. Sir.
Yes, I know about those story hours. I know many people in different parts of the country go and they're like disrupted a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any groups that you know who are organizing things like this that to stop those kind of events?
I do not know, but I've heard of them. I know a lot of people across the state through my campaigning, and they've probably got the same things on their mind. And I just threw that out there because it pisses me off more than anything else. And I'm way off script. But I tell you what, if I find them, I'll let you know. Ma'am?
Is it possible that these parents are victims of the dummy down education system that they went through? And so now they're passing on, which is exactly what these far left groups are hoping for with the current students, and why it's so massively important to get the parents educated, the parents of today, hopefully.
They outflanked us. While we were out working like Republicans do, they were attacking the school board. And so finding somebody to run for school board is hard. It's a tough job. It's a thankless job. But the issue of the day is they did it. And now we got to make some changes. We got to fight this. And yeah, it's not going to work here, at least if I can have anything to do about it.
Say the moms for liberty is one of the things they do. It's
Yeah.
like CRTs.
That's exactly what we need to engage in. And, you know, the Mercedes Mobius out in Carolina, she's the president out there, and they do wonderful work, and I'm hoping that you will take this and run with it, and if I can help you, let me know. I don't know if I should join the moms group, but maybe I can be on the side or something.
Be a special advisor.
You can drag queen.
You don't want to see that. You do not want to see that. You were saying?
On the election night, or afternoon, evening, my husband and I were out at one of the polling places, and we were having really wonderful conversations with people going in. Clearly, we had the signs, so we knew. But when the Democrats showed up with that Dan Apple, why is it that Republicans cannot get any sort of support from the law enforcements, from the teachers union? I realize that's all Democrat, they've all sold out. But when that apple came onto the parking lot, we left because we knew we were outnumbered, outgunned, and outsmarted. And that was a hard lesson for us to learn on election night.
Yeah.
So I guess we need to step back, educate, and try to mobilize now, as you've been saying,
Yeah.
to kind of get the backing of these notable organizations so that when we have our apple in 2024, or baton, or whatever we're gonna be getting, we can hand people stuff and
Yeah.
we have a backing, a backbone.
In the
I mean, they
military.
didn't even read it. I mean, they were like, oh, teachers union, they must be smart.
Mhm.
Here, I'm gonna vote for all these people.
Take an apple.
But yeah, very,
Poison apple.
very clever and very effective. And I think that's, if we're gonna win, we're gonna have to be like them. And I think it's about time we got used to being like them and work towards getting support from these people, Back the Blue, on all these organizations that support us.
There are people out there. Oh, please.
I don't wanna take this
No,
over,
no, no.
but
What do you
the
think?
teachers union, the unions, the police officers, that is a huge money machine. And that's what they do with it, and they say we are, it says like teacher approved. They do not ask any teachers, it comes straight from the union.
Yeah.
And they put all the money into it, so we had a lot of teachers that supported us, but they were afraid to speak out, they could not speak out. It's part of their contract, they're told not to speak out.
Is it an open or a closed shop at the schools?
It's a,
Do they have to be a member of the union, or is it that they're out there?
but they don't know it. They don't have.
But it would be bad for their career if they're not.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get to you, sir, but let me ask you something, tell you something. Right here in this very restaurant, a couple months ago, Beth had this event. Gordana was speaking, and it was for teachers. And that place was packed because they believe what we believe. But they were afraid to give out their names. I was about to record some of them, and they're like, don't record anything because we're afraid that they'll take our jobs away.
Yeah.
That's the real deal. They're under a barrel, they're over a barrel. Sir, you had a question?
Yeah, mentioning about teachers' unions, do we have any plans of becoming more involved with workers' unions, teachers' unions, police unions, all these unions? Because they're very powerful, and I know that if we were to get more in control of that, we get a lot of votes by that alone.
I don't have any plans yet, but we should, because we should be out there with those guys. Everybody in Howard County, I'm not gonna say everybody, but a lot of conservatives are looking to us to lead. And we were so busy fighting each other, they were like, I don't want any part of this. But that's really, really, really what went down. As I was saying before, my neighbor 2 doors down, this woman's been to my house many times. I host a barbecue at least once a year. You know, everybody comes over and drinks all my liquor, and the kids run around and break soap. But this woman's been to my house, and my friend next door told me, well, he's a Republican, so she won't talk to you. And I was running in Carroll County. Lisa, how much time I got?
Oh, you get as much as you want.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, let me get off this gloom and doom. Let me tell you another story. I am, for the past 2 years, have been involved with the governor's basically we chose judges. I forget what the term is, I can't think of it, we're getting old. But the issue is that the District 9 Judicial Nominating Commission, that's what it is. So we chose judges for District 9. I've been on there for 2 years. And so one time, just recently, we had 10 candidates. They come marching into the Howard County Courthouse. First time I'd ever been there. It's really nice. I don't know if you guys ever been there, but the issue is I had no business over there, so I was pretty surprised at how nice it was. But 10 candidates come in and all these lawyers. I'm not a lawyer. There were like 2 non-lawyers on there, just to be laymen. So here comes the candidates, and we're discussing them. And one particular candidate, I'm not going to mention his name, but this guy had been an Army Ranger, had been an Army lawyer for 10 years, and been a civilian lawyer in Howard County for 10 years. He was the most qualified person I could possibly think of to be a circuit court judge in Howard County. I would trust that guy with my life. And I didn't even know him. He came in and gave a speech. And so we were deliberating and talking about, ranking ordering the other candidates. And they were like, well, he's arrogant. And I'm like, arrogant, what does that mean? Everybody on that panel except me was woke. And the issue of the day was he was a white male. He was the most qualified person there. But he was a white male. Now me, I believe in a meritocracy. If you got the best resume, hey, you should be put in, because we're gonna take 3 of the 10. And I gave a little impromptu speech. And I told him, I said, listen, this gentleman shares something with me. He's a military officer who has spent time across overseas in wartime. He's had people, life and death decisions made. And I don't remember exactly what I said, but the bottom line is, judging people on what they look like, especially somebody like him who was eminently qualified, he's clearly the best candidate we got here. And I made my little speech. And actually, his name got moved forward. They moved somebody else out of the way and they moved 3 forward. Now, he didn't get this accepted by the governor because the governor is woke. But the issue today, on that day, I won my little battle against the rest of the woke world. That's what we did. When you see an opportunity to display your conservatism, you need to do so. You may not agree with the end state. I'll tell you, I voted for Trump twice. If he ran again, I'd probably vote for him again. However, I don't vote for Trump because he's Trump. I vote because I hear his words, my words coming out of his mouth. And that's the way a politician should be. Your words ought to be coming out of that politician's mouth. And if it's not, vote for somebody else. But bottom line is, if you can get an 80% solution with the person that you're working with on behalf of conservatism, then it's about as good as it's going to get. Don't expect 100%. We've got a bigger enemy, and that enemy is Wes Moore. I don't like the way he does things. I think our taxes are about to go up. I think we're getting ready to go into a recession, and I don't want that man running the boat. It's too late now. We just need to prepare for the next opportunity to take him down. 2024 is coming, and we need to be ready. So, with that said, what did I forget? Oh, the book. Yeah, like I said.
Berney,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you. My soon-to-be 99-year-old mother is visiting with me, so thank you all so much. I really enjoyed this, and I look forward to meeting you all again.
Thanks for joining tonight.
So, I got a bunch of these books over there if you like, pick one up. I hate to resell it. Huh? Yeah. I feel like
Pay the man.
I feel like a used car salesman. But here's the deal. This is my way of trying to stay independent. Because if I can raise enough money with these books, maybe I'll be able to run again. What you don't want is somebody to come walking over to me. I've had phone calls, don't get me wrong. Hey Berney, why don't you come over here? Democrats, by the way, call me up. Hey, why don't you come meet us over here? Let's talk. Well, dude, you're a Democrat. Well, we're not enemies. We just want to talk to you. The next thing you know, somebody writes you a check and then you're home. And that's how corruption starts. I'm less of a Republican and more of an anti-corruption person. I know what's out there, and we have to stop it, and it has to be one at a time. And when that money comes your way and somebody tries to bribe you, well, it ain't gonna be me. So with that said, have I forgotten anything? Oh, no. Some people, I got a question for you. And it's not when you're ready. Are blacks racist?
Some of them,
Can be.
some of them,
Some of them are.
just like some white people.
So here's the deal. There's an old Chris Rock joke. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. I know you heard that one. I ain't gonna tell the joke, but there's a civil war going on with black people, and we're all losing. 75% of our children are born without fathers. And those fathers, you know, a lot of them are in jail. A lot of them were put there by Joe Biden's 1994 crime bill. Why do we let Joe Biden get away with everything? This man's dropping classified all over the place. Got classified in this doggone garage. But yet they were trying to hang Trump from the rafters. Now I'm getting pissed off again. Yeah, what are we gonna do about it?
And he didn't think to tell us during before the election either. That was,
Oh, he did.
you know, made a big spectacle of
Yeah,
Trump.
he sure did.
But he didn't think it was necessary to tell the
Not a
public
big deal.
before the election.
Hunter Biden, I mean, let me say, 2003, I was 6 months in the Ukraine before anybody knew where it was. Doing stuff that I shouldn't have been doing on behalf of the United States government. That's another story for another time. But the issue of the day is, Hunter Biden doesn't speak Ukrainian. He doesn't speak Russian. He's not an engineer. Why is he making $50,000 a month as a board member for one of those big corporations over there?
You gotta pay those, you gotta pay that.
Maybe because his dad was vice president.
You are so cynical.
Just a possibility.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself, Jay. So you're thinking that thought. One last thing, because I'm getting short on time. I'm keeping you guys out here. I believe in meritocracy. You know, this idea of affirmative action and all that sort of stuff. I came from the poorest county in the entire state of North Carolina. I just passed through this past weekend. And if I can get out of that tobacco field, anybody can. So, yes, I owe this country a lot, and I'm willing to deliver if I can. So, Lisa, do you have any questions?
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
How much is your
$20. I feel like a bad person for it, but it's for a good cause.
It's worth it.
Well, thank you.
Berney's book.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
It's related to some of the discussion you had today. Now, what I've noticed with respect to the Senate, and I'm very concerned with respect to the Senate, okay? The federal government.
Yes, ma'am.
That's the Senate I'm talking about, not the state. One of the things I've noticed that there are about 15 to 17 Republicans who generally consistently vote with the Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
So we are talking about, in my mind, I've come to the conclusion that really the Democrats don't seem to have a problem, even if they had a 50-50 Senate. They really had like a 62, 63 Senate. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to very important decisions, these Republicans, I know they're rhinos, but they're still Republicans.
We ain't supposed to say it
literally
right now. I
impact-
was told not to say that. I'll just play it.
They literally impact our future and our children's future with respect to the type of omnibus that they will pass in terms of
Oh,
budget.
don't get me started.
And all of these issues. So I want to know where we are going. Sometimes as Republicans, thank God we got the House. At least we control the purse of the nation. But my question is, where are we going? Because if these people are always going to, technically I would say they would betray or at least not follow the values that Republicans have, at least they profess to have, then, you know, the Democrats will always have, I mean, they fought for that 51st seat, but they will always have 62, 63 people in the Senate. There will always be.
How do you stop that? We stop it like this. We have to play the long game. Let me give you an example. Well, first of all, I'm angry about that whole thing, but you gotta remember, senators stay in office for 6 years at a time. And, you know, we got people in the Senate that vote with the Republicans and vote with the Democrats, and they're not doing us any good. And we gotta get those people out of office. I'll tell you another story. I was down there with my wife's relatives this past weekend, and one of them called up and said, hey, you know, I saw Wes Moore on The View. These people get their knowledge and their political, you know, affirmations from The View, from Whoopi Goldberg. We gotta educate folks. We gotta let them know, read a newspaper every once in a while. These people are my cousins, my wife's people, and they didn't know I had written a book. You know, now this just came out in December, but what I'm trying to say is we got a whole lot of people that don't know their ass from their elbow, and we got to educate them. And I'm sorry for saying that, but I'm a soldier. I get cussed every once in a while.
But there's a lot of low education.
Low education voters, and we gotta educate them. We gotta tell your next door neighbor, hey, your taxes are gonna go up if you vote for Wes Moore. Okay? He's associated with BlackRock. Do you know who that is? He's associated, you know, with these people that are trying to take your money away. These people that are spreading, you know, Monsanto and dioxin and all of that stuff into our farmland. Yeah, Republicans can be environmentalists too. You know, it's not just the Democrats. And a lot of Democrats are like, we didn't vote for that. But then you gotta tell them. So with that said, grassroots, just like they did to us. That's the whole deal. We gotta get down, talk to our neighbor, person to person. And yeah, it's gonna take some time, but it can be done. And I'm living proof. I mean, that's what I'm doing. I walked away from a gang of money. My wife is still mad at me while we were on vacation. She's like, why did you do this again? But it's all gonna break down. We got grandchildren and we gotta protect them. So did I answer your question? Ma'am?
Oh, I was gonna say, being involved in this is anything decades. We've gotta play it 4 years, not just, 4 years.
Yes.
And not just 6 months.
Yeah.
We've got to be out there writing letters, telling people.
Engaging.
We cannot wait till the election year and then say, hey, look at me, these guys, we better learn something.
There you go. And you know what really got me going on this whole thing was Baltimore. Baltimore is a hot mess, and every time I open that doggone Baltimore Sun, somebody died. 5 o'clock, New Year's Eve, the last casualty of Baltimore's of the year 2022, 7-year-old boy. 4 o'clock in the morning, the first casualties of the new year 2023 was a double murder. Oh, by the way, black on black crime. So I have another reason to be excited and interested in trying to stop this. And you know, I'm not dauntless crusader out here trying to fix this thing, but if we get enough people moving in the right direction, yes, we can do this. I'll use that Obama phrase. Oh, but speaking of Obama, I got some choice words for him in here. I would buy a book just to say, you know, this guy bamboozled all black people in this country. It's like, where's my reparations? Well, let me tell this last story. I'll shut up. Okay, so here it is. And I'll tell you, if you did the research, I'm in Texas. I get out of 2008. I retired from the military. I'm itching. I'm working for USAA, but I'm itching to get into politics. It's the Democratic primary. I go to a thing, and Hillary Clinton's running, and I despise Hillary Clinton. I don't know which one I hate worse, her husband or her. Maybe her daughter, but they're all terrible people. So I go to this rally and I start running my mouth like I'm doing now. Next thing you know, they make me precinct chairman for the Democratic Party in my neighborhood in San Antonio. I'm like, I don't know my ass from my elbow. I don't know what I'm doing. But the issue of the day is I went ahead and got involved because I really hate Hillary Clinton. And I'll help this guy out. He lost Texas, but he won the presidency. So I learned a lot about how politics runs, how this thing, and I know that her people cheat. They were prepared to cheat. So, you know, bottom line is fast forward to now, I got a little bit of stamp on me. I learned a few things, but I learned that people coming together can make a big, big difference if we work together. So all these clubs that you guys run and, you know, the young Republicans and then Beth, you know, being elected to her position and as a county Republican chair, I mean, that's how it starts. 2 years ago, I didn't know Beth. And Ray introduced me to Beth and Will, and next thing you know, I'm running for Congress. And it's like, how'd that happen? Oh, I was real pissed off. I hold it inside. But we gotta fix this. And if we don't fix this now, it's gonna get out of control. I mean, I see this Agenda 2030. Have you been paying attention? The last book I read was Klaus Schwab's Fourth Industrial Revolution. I would highly recommend it. I don't think you're gonna like it. But you need to know who your enemy is, because these people don't mean well for you. So With that said.
Thank you so much.
One of these
How
days.
many books did you bring?
I have
Bring enough?
20.
Okay.
So Steve Berney for books, I told you when the next meeting is, and you'll get announcements. And bottom line is, we all know the general assembly started up this last Wednesday. Everyone in this room can do something. There are people in this room that donate money, and that's all they can do, that's fine. There are people in this room that I have to yell over, it's okay. There are people in this room that have run for office. There are people in this room who have served in office. There are people in this room who have served in this club, in the leadership, served in the Republicans, the GOP club. Don't spend so much time on Facebook, is my advice. Facebook is a bunch of bullshit. It's a waste of your time.